Welcome to Land of the Bible. I'm David Sussman. Today, we will journey to one of the most extraordinary places on earth, the Dead Sea region. The Dead Sea sits at the lowest point on the surface of the planet, over 1,400 feet below sea level, along a massive tectonic fault known as the Syrian-African Rift. And here in the Judean desert, it has carved out a landscape of raw, powerful beauty. The salt-laden waters of the Dead Sea are so dense, you float effortlessly, while the surrounding sinkholes, salt formations, and mineral deposits shift and reshape the land in real time. So join me as we spend a day exploring the geology, ecology, and wild beauty of the Dead Sea region, a place where heaven and earth feel impossibly close. All right, we are here at Dead Sea Riders right now, about to do a tour of these beautiful date trees you can see behind me. Got a very, very special way to really touch upon the nature here in the Dead Sea. We're gonna see this antiquity from the Hashmonean period, the story of Hanukkah, an ancient port, of course, the epic views of the Dead Sea, the Kidron Valley behind me. Let's head out now with Dead Sea Riders for this amazing tour of the nature here in the Dead Sea. Oh, this is cool. Guys, check this out. A lot of nature here. What we have over here is called a Sodom apple tree, named after Sodom and Gomorrah. And the reason why is when you look at the fruit, it looks lush, it looks beautiful, it looks tempting, you just want to eat it up. But when you take one of them and you pop it open, I'm not going to do that because they're a little bit poisonous. What you find inside is just a bunch of emptiness, right? Vanity, just like Sodom and Gomorrah was. But you have these beautiful fibers here. And in Judaism, we have the oral Torah, it's known as the Mishnah. And in the Mishnah that we read every Sabbath, of what we can light with, right? What are we talking about? Shabbat candles. Back in the day, they used olive oil, little tea light, and they would put a wick inside. And so what can we light with is talking about what different types of oils, but also the wick. And if you look at the fibers inside the Sodom apple, they look beautiful, right? Nice, clean, white, shiny. Looks like it would make for a perfect wick to use on the Holy Sabbath. But it says we're not allowed to use the fibers from a Sodom apple. And I think the reason why is in Judaism, everything that we use needs to be holy, right? It needs to be whole. And the Sodom apple tree is filled with emptiness, vanity, deception, evil. And we don't want to use something that has those character traits in an act of holiness. But really cool to be able to see it here. There's so much nature to see here at the Dead Sea, and I can't think of a better way than with these easy riders. The Dead Sea Riders, we're able to see so much in a short period of time. Even though it's really hot, it's a lot of fun. And date trees, archaeology, I mean, there's so much to see here. Let's continue. So the date trees that we're in right now, there's actually 3 different kinds of dates that grow here in the Dead Sea. And this particular one has already ripened. So you can see there's no dates on there, but a little bit further over, you have this Deckel Nord date. Those are gonna be harvested in just a couple weeks. So then you have the famous ones all the way down at the very, very end over there. That might be another month. But one thing I want to tell you that might just blow your mind, that I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. Each tree, each date tree, I mean, we got thousands of date trees just right here and tens of thousands all along the Dead Sea over here. Each tree during the hot months, July, August, September, require 1,000 liters of water every day. We are in one of the driest deserts in all of Israel. Where is all this water coming from? So again, that incredible Israeli ingenuity. What are we gonna do? How are we gonna make the desert bloom? We recycle wastewater. That's right, we recycle the wastewater, we filter it, we purify it, and we use it to irrigate the date fields here at the Dead Sea. Now, we just celebrated the holiday of Sukkot, the Feast of Tabernacles here in Israel. And if you can look up, you can see all the branches that have been cut. They've been cut so that people can use that as what we call schach, right? The covering on top of that tabernacle, on top of that booth, or what we call in Hebrew, the sukkah. We take a branch from the date tree called a lulav. It's that spine, it's that central one that grows right up. We cut it and everybody shakes it in all different directions. We dance with it, we dance with God. We celebrate the Torah, we celebrate His love, and we celebrate the humanity and the unity of all of mankind. This is awesome to be able to see where all of that schach, the covering for the sukkah, and where the lulav comes from, where the date comes from, and how much water they need. This is awesome. Let's continue as we adventure with our easy riders. Okay, we'll see ya. All right, that was pretty amazing. Let's now jump off the easy riders, jump into a Jeep, and I'm gonna take you to a place that not even I have been to. So stay tuned, let's go.
Imagine walking where Jesus walked, where faith comes to life. Feel the Bible story unfold around you, from the green Galilee to Jerusalem's ancient streets. Experience the serene and welcoming land of the Bible, where miracles happen. Put your heart where His footsteps are. Visit Israel.
In addition to the easy riders, going on a Jeep tour here at the Dead Sea can take you to some really unique places that even the easy riders can't get to. Right now, rather than heading down to the Dead Sea, we're actually going up into the Kidron Valley. Wow, that was a lot of fun, riding in the Jeep over the big rocks, coming up above the Dead Sea. But what's even better than that is that I'm standing right now in front of the Kidron Valley. I know a lot of you must know the Kidron Valley because it's the valley that separates the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, Mount Moriah, and the Mount of Olives. So when you're standing on the Mount of Olives, looking out onto where the temple stood, that valley that sits in between those two mountains is the Kidron Valley. And there's a prophecy of Zechariah, one of the great prophets, who says that towards the end of days, when the Messianic era, when the Messiah is going to arrive, there will be Maim Chaim, living water flowing from Jerusalem to the west towards the Mediterranean, and another half of that water flowing east towards the Dead Sea. And that prophecy is associated with the Kidron Valley because this is the only valley that goes from Jerusalem all the way to the Dead Sea. I look down below and I can actually see Maim Chaim, living water flowing through the Kidron Valley all the way to the Dead Sea. It's a small trickle, but if you ask me, this is just the beginning. But our Jeep tour is not over, so come with me as we continue to adventure here, seeing the beautiful nature of the Dead Sea. Okay, stop number 2 on the Jeep tour. We're going on the famous cakewalk here at the Dead Sea. Why the cakewalk? You're about to find out. Wow, this is absolutely amazing. Coming to this unique place you can only get to with a 4-wheel drive vehicle. Seeing the sinkholes, the shoreline, untouched by mankind. Wow, this is awesome. This is literally different than the last time I was here. And the reason why is that the Dead Sea evaporates. Literally, they lose 3 feet, a meter of water every year. So the shoreline here changes all the time. But what we're looking at is, you can see over there, you can see there's like a little cave. It's actually a tunnel that goes to one of the sinkholes that collects the fresh water, brings it out here to the Dead Sea. Fresh water is lighter than the salt water, and this is, as we said before, the most salinated body of water in the entire world. It's hypersalinated. The fresh water literally comes straight up from the bottom of the Dead Sea all the way through, straight up. And where the salt water and the fresh water meet, minerals start to form all around it, and then the salt around the minerals. And you get these chimneys, and if you go out there and you see one of the fresh chimneys, you can still see the hole in the top where the fresh water used to come up. You know what? Let's get a closer look at some of these chimneys, because these formations are literally out of this world. Come with me. Man, this is off the beaten track. Anybody wants to come and experience this, just look up Cakewalk, Dead Sea. Coming out here on the Cakewalk tour, you know, this is family friendly. Your kids are gonna love jumping from one cake to the next out here in the water. I'm having a great time. I know my kids would too. Ugh. Awesome. We have a saying here in Israel, Sof Haderech, the end of the path, the furthest point. You can't get further away than this, the lowest place on earth, right here on a chimney that was submerged in water just a short while ago. This is beautiful. Coming out here, you got to take a little bit of time for some introspection, meditation, and prayer to the Almighty. So grateful that the land of Israel is this beautiful, this diverse. From the tall mountain of the Hermon to the lowest place on earth, the Dead Sea. Thank you. All right, for our last stop here on this Jeep tour along the Dead Sea, I promised you a place that not even I have been to. It's not open to the public yet, and now I'm talking about this ancient port here. I know, when you think of ports, you think of the Mediterranean, the Atlantic, the Pacific, the Caribbean, but imagine 2,000 plus years ago, the Second Temple period, Judea still stood. It was part of the Roman Empire, and the Dead Sea, even without fish and as salty as it is, was extremely valuable. The reason why is you had natural tar that floated on the surface of the Dead Sea that they would skim off the top and ship it out for waterproofing, for the Roman roads. And in Egypt, they even used it to embalm their dead. In addition to the valuable tar trade, They used to also bring balsam, a very popular fragrance that was produced in Ein Gedi, bringing it up along the shore of the Dead Sea and bringing the precious cargo right here. Now come, let's continue as we go to one of the beautiful nature reserves here along the Dead Sea called Einot Tzukim. Welcome to Einot Tzukim, one of the greatest hidden gems here at the Dead Sea. This place has an abundant amount of natural springs, over 200 species of birds that migrate through here, as well as an abundant amount of ruins here that date back to the Second Temple period. The park has an abundant amount of walking trails here, and to cover them all, it would take you about an hour and a half. Makes for the perfect place to visit with your families and young ones, as there's an abundant amount of pools here that people can swim in. So where does all this fresh water come from? So when it rains in the Judean mountains, which is made out of limestone, all that water seeps into the mountain. But when it gets to the Dead Sea Basin, which is mostly clay, the water with the pressure of everything above it spits out into these massive springs. Over 70 million cubits of water is located right here in Einot Tzukim. The water is ample enough to supply wild animals here. It's home to a pack of wolves that live here, as well as foxes, jackals, and even striped hyenas. Wherever you have a fresh source of water here in the desert, you're gonna find ancient man dwelling there. I'm now in a villa, a home of some ancient Israelite that lived here during the Second Temple period. Here with the abundant amount of water, that they grew dates. I mean, after all, the city of Jericho is known as the city of dates. However, many archaeologists believe that they actually produce dyes for clothing, as well as to paint what's known as a fresco on wet plaster that would have been on the exterior of these stone homes. There's also a place just slightly north of here known as Qumran. And Qumran is the place where they wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls. And just like here, with an abundant amount of water, they could grow their food, raise their animals. There was a thriving community in Qumran. If you don't remember anything I said in this really gorgeous nature reserve, don't worry. When you come here with the price of admission, they have an awesome multimedia presentation inside that tells you the history from the people who lived here, how they used the water, and of course, the incredible nature and all the animals you can see here. So come with me. So before we even get into the movie theater, you enter this room, it's almost like Alice in Wonderland. Everything's really, really large, from the quills of a porcupine to the shaldag, this amazing bird that fishes in the ponds here in Einot Tzukim. These are African ants. It's the most northern point that they live. You can see how long their legs are that would elevate them off the hot earth in Africa. But what's really cool about these super intelligent ants is they almost trap the cicada. The cicada over here, they build a nest for it so that the cicada, which burrows into the acacia wood over here, bringing out the sap, the sweetness, which the ants obviously eat. So very unique relationship here. Just awesome. They did a fantastic job here.
I will bless those who bless you, God promised Abraham. Embrace this covenant by connecting with the people of Israel. From Jerusalem's stones to Galilee's shores, experience living faith through their traditions and hospitality. Your journey is more than visiting biblical sites. It's about hearts that welcome your friendship. Your presence matters. Discover Israel.
One can't talk about the nature of the Dead Sea without visiting Ein Gedi, the most famous nature reserve / national park in the Dead Sea Basin, with Mount Yishai behind me rising up. And who's Yishai? Jesse in English, the father of none other than King David. Let's talk a little bit about King David as we hike up this trail towards some of the waterfalls here in Ein Gedi. So King David flees here to Ein Gedi while he's being chased by his father-in-law, King Saul. King Saul was high on his tail, so David hides in one of the caves here along the cliffs of Ein Gedi. Shaul has to relieve himself. He goes into one of the caves that he thought was safe because it had a spider web all around it. However, David and his trusted general Yoav were there. So Yoav tells David, "You need to kill him with your sword." David says, "Who am I to kill the anointed one of God?" But he takes Shaul's tunic. He slices off the corner. The following day, David is high up there on top, and Shaul's on that side, and they meet far enough from one another that they can't fight, but close enough that they can scream at one another. Shaul blames David for trying to kill him, and David says, "If I wanted to, I could have killed you yesterday. Look at the corner of your tunic." He takes it. He sees where David sliced off the corner, realizing that he could have killed him if he wanted to. Saul and David will kiss and make up, but this cat and mouse game will continue to play out until the end of King Saul's life. However, Ein Gedi will always remain a place of sanctuary and safety for King David, and it is here where most of the book of Psalms will be written. Here we have one of the beautiful waterfalls that are all around Ein Gedi. This particular riverbed is named after King David, and it's one of the reasons why tourists far and wide come here to relax in the fresh, cold pools of water, to enjoy the beautiful nature that's here in the National Park of Ein Gedi along the Dead Sea. Let's now continue our adventure as we head towards the southern part of the Dead Sea to an area known as Ein Bokek, which has a plethora of public beaches for those who want to float and take in all the wonders of the Dead Sea. Let's face it, the most incredible natural phenomenon here at the Dead Sea is, well, the Dead Sea. I mean, this was formed a long, long time ago when water from the Mediterranean went through the Jezreel Valley, came down here to the lowest place on Earth, 1,500 feet below sea level. At various times, the Dead Sea actually completely evaporated, leaving nothing behind but hundreds of meters of salt and minerals. And people come here from all over the world in order to simply float in its healing waters. That's right, the salinity is so high, 10 times greater than any other ocean anywhere in the world. But it's not just the excitement of feeling the weightlessness in the Dead Sea. It also has incredible healing properties. King Herod built a healing resort here 2,000 years ago. Cleopatra wanted her cosmetics made with the minerals of the Dead Sea. Here in Israel, people will be prescribed time at the Dead Sea to heal eczema, psoriasis, arthritis, because of its incredible qualities. But for tourists, The most exciting thing about coming here to the Dead Sea is coming and grabbing some of the mud and smearing it all over their body, because the mud also has all of those minerals, the calcium, the potassium, the bromide. And as it dries, it'll suck out all the impurities. And when you wash it off, the only thing that's left behind is the oil from the Dead Sea. This is an awesome place to visit, a one-of-a-kind experience. So on your next visit to Israel, make sure to come to the Dead Sea. Next week on Land of the Bible, we head to one of the most beautiful and important places in biblical and modern times, the Sea of Galilee, known here in Israel as the Kinneret. The Dead Sea is one of the most extraordinary places on earth. It's a place of beauty, mystery, and healing. Thank you for joining us, and make sure to join us next time as we connect you to the people, places, and land of the Bible.